Yeah, we got Mary Kay in the queue, so let's bring in our Hall of Fame writer. After a reminder that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now they have an incredible deal for brand new customers. If you're a new FanDuel customer and you bet just $5, and that first $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome Mary Kay Cabot to the show. How you doing today, Mary Kay?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
Good, Mary Kay. When are you leaving for England? I know Zach told me he was leaving tonight. Are you going tonight also, or not till tomorrow?
Yes, I'm on the same flight as Zach tonight. We are flying out of Pittsburgh, and we're doing that so we can be on a direct flight. So we needed to get there because we have to be at practice on Thursday, and so even though the Browns are still going to be here tomorrow, they can take off right after practice and get there in a little bit more of a timely fashion. So we are leaving tonight.
By the way, how ridiculous is it that you can get a direct flight to England from Pittsburgh, but you can't get it from Cleveland? That is unacceptable.
Well, when they upgrade the airport in the next 2 years.
All right, hopefully. There should be no reason. I know you can fly direct to Ireland, but not to England. Mary Kay, the interaction between when Scott Petrak yesterday asked Kevin, is Joe going to be the quarterback? He was non-committal, obviously. Scott followed up, still gave no straight answer. Zach's opinion, I spoke to Zach earlier today, his opinion was that at the time of that press conference, Kevin Stefanski was not sure who the quarterback was going to be. Do you believe that as well? And who do you think is going to be the quarterback this week?
Yeah, he might not have known during that press conference. And I asked him after the game, of course. It seems like every week I ask him in the post-game press conference, are you sticking with Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
And he was non-committal after the game, too, which in previous weeks, he's gone right to Joe's our quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of up in the air right now. I think they're turning it over to Dillon Gabriel, but I'm not sure. I'm really not 100% sure. Some of it can be gamesmanship because this is an important football game to win. I know that might sound crazy because the Browns are 1-3, but so are the Ravens. And I see you guys had a graphic up earlier that the AFC North is a mess. And that is why this game is so vitally important. If you can get to 2-3 and start to be hanging around and keep yourself in the mix a little bit, anything can happen. We know Joe Burrow is out for 3 months. We know that the Baltimore Ravens are a mess right now. And if Pittsburgh doesn't completely run away with this, then there is a world in which the Browns can stay in this or get back in this a little bit if they start to string together some victories. So this is a very, very important game. And I think the Browns are using whatever competitive advantage they can find to try to go out there and win it. And that's why we haven't heard anything yet.
Mary Kay, a lot of people ask me every day. They say, listen, Dillon Gabriel is 24-25. He played the most college games that we've seen in college level. All preseason, we talked about how cerebral he was. The fact that he gets the ball out of his hand quick. The Browns love him. The Browns targeted him specifically in the third round because they love all of his traits, right? They have him as a backup quarterback. That means by default, if something happens, he's the next guy up. Why the reluctance? Even if you're going to London, hey, get him ready. Tell him, hey, look, take a nap on the plane. Like, what is the reluctance level of putting a guy with that much experience that you like in the football game when Joe's playing this bad?
I don't know what the reluctance would be, and maybe they're not reluctant. I would go ahead and do it. I wrote a whole column yesterday explaining why I think they need to make this change to Dillon Gabriel, and there's a lot of points in there that I made and some numbers too. But one of the biggest things I think that you should do it because of is the fact that Dillon Gabriel can run a different kind of an offense than Joe can. I think it will be faster, zippier. I think you're going to get the ball out quicker into the hands of your playmakers. I think you can run some RPOs. I think you can run some designed runs. He's very mobile. He was very much like in the mold of sort of like a Kenny Pickett. And those two guys were supposed to be the ones that were targeted to start this season. First Kenny and then Gabriel later. So that's what they were going for. More of a game management guy, not somebody who's necessarily going to hit the big explosive plays, but manage the game well, get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, run the ball with Quinshon, which now we know they can do that, and then play good defense. So I would not hesitate to try Dylan Gabriel and see what you have. He started 64 games in college. The moment is not going to be too big for him. He has so much muscle memory for playing this game. He's seen everything. I think he can handle most situations. He's played at a very, very high level. I would not hesitate to do it.
Oh, Mary Kay, first of all, I want to say thank you for asking the question about if he switches off of Joe Flacco, would Shador be the backup or Joe be the backup? I thought it was an excellent question. He sidestepped that one perfectly, but it was a great question by you.
He's a classic
I want to ask you about the tackle position, because last week they signed Thurl Mumford, go Bucks, off the practice squad of the Patriots, but he was inactive because obviously he wanted to get up to speed. They just traded for Cam Robinson, and Jack Conklin is another guy that I think may possibly come back. Do you know his availability? Because honestly, if Jack Conklin is ready to go, and they do, I think they would start Dylan Gabriel, because now he becomes the blind spot of Dylan Gabriel, and he's the most experienced tackle that they got. So what is the status of Jack Conklin?
Well, I don't really know yet. But I know he's progressing and he's getting closer week by week. So maybe he'll be ready to play against the Vikings, but he might not be. And if he's not, then I think you will be looking at Cam Robinson on the left and Cornelius Lucas, or maybe even KT Levinston, or some combination of those guys. So they have to hope that Jack comes back. I think that will really, really help them. But even so, I still think, people say, well, how are you going to want to put a rookie quarterback in there when you have tackle issues? How are you not going to want to go to the rookie quarterback when you have tackle issues and a 40-year-old quarterback that can't really move? At least Dylan can slip and slide away from some trouble. So I think it actually makes more sense to play him, not only against the Vikings, but against the Steelers, who are going to pin their ears back and come after Joe Flacco. So I think it makes total sense to go with Dylan for so many reasons. And hey, if it doesn't work out, then you can come up with another plan. But you have to see if the quarterback change is going to be something that can shake up your offense and get some of these receivers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you haven't seen Mary Kay's article, I read it this morning. Check it out, of course, as you see on cleveland.com there on the bottom of the screen. Mary Kay, obviously, the Lions scored a lot of points, but I think it was similar to the Ravens game, where most of that was the fault of either the offense or the special teams. Certainly wasn't the defense's best game, but I think the defense still played well enough to win. Nobody had a great game for Detroit, except, Jahmyr Gibbs had a pretty solid game, but outside of that, nobody else really did that much. What did you think?
No, not at all. Not at all. You still have a championship caliber defense, and that's why if they could get some decent offense going, then they could be onto something here a little bit and try to win some football games. You just have to not be giving the game away, and that's what they did again, just like they did against the Ravens. 24 of the Lions' 34 points came off of the turnovers and the punt return for the touchdown. Other than that, the defense did its job for the most part. Yes, they gave up too many yards to Gibbs, and no, they didn't have a sack. But for the most part, you can't ask much more from what you're getting from this defense. It's the other two units that are failing for this football team right now. And, you can't blame the defense if they're starting to get a little bit frustrated. They are trying to hide it if they are. But they need some offense to go with this, and they 100% threw that game away in Detroit.
Yep.
Let me ask you about the special teams unit, because that's another one of those units that's not doing well, and I'm trying to figure out, how did we get to this point? You talk about legend. We had Josh Cribbs back in the day. He talked about Travis Benjamin the other day.
That is.
Like, why is it that we can't get a dynamic returner, and how, at worst, can they not just do the basic things, like don't give up a punt return or stuff like that, or hit the kicks and things like that? Why is our special teams unit down like this?
Well, it seemed as though they had turned the corner against Green Bay when they got the blocked field goal and hit the 55-yard field goal. It was like, oh, special teams actually just contributed in a huge way to this victory. But then they reverted again in this past game. I don't really blame Schmidt too much for missing a 56-yarder, although he does have the leg to make a 56-yarder. So you do want him to be able to make those. But certainly the punt return for the touchdown was ridiculous. And, Grant Delpit hit took a lot of blame for that and said he kind of play. So kudos to him for standing up and owning that. I thought that was a pretty professional thing for him to do. But they've got to stop making these special teams gaffes. It's really mind-blowing. I mean, Bubba Ventrone is a really, really good special teams coach. He came here with an impeccable reputation and had coached and presided over some of the best special teams in the NFL in his previous 5 years. So the fact that they keep making mistakes like this is really, really shocking. And that's one thing that there's no excuse for it. They've got to get that cleaned up. If they can get that cleaned up and once again stop giving the ball away, then they can win games.
Mary Kay, I'm gonna keep a buck with you. I gotta keep it real. When these rookies get in here, I don't want to see people say this because there are some. Joe's been playing bad, but these drops is looking crazy. Jerry Jeudy, I don't know what's going on with him. I've never seen him this demonstrative on the sideline. He's missing the balls. He's hitting his helmet. Harold Fannin, I like
love Harold Fannin.
Love
a lot of drops. Yeah.
Balls is hitting him in the hands, not really getting you. Cedric Tillman is out. And I want to be clear because what's going to happen is when the rookies get in there and they throw the ball and they drop them, people going to lose their mind because they're rookies and they're like, you got to help the rookies out. But what's going on with the drops? I mean, is this something that's alarming as it is to me?
I actually think it's a combination of a lot of things. When we asked Bill Musgrave, the quarterback's coach, about those 2 interceptions in week 1, he said those balls could have been thrown a little bit better. And when we talked to Kevin Stefanski again on Monday, he talked about there needs to be precision. So I think there must be something going wrong with the precision of the passing game. And I don't know exactly what it is, but certainly the connection between Jerry Jeudy and Joe Flacco, that's not there. Sometimes the ball is hitting him right in the hands, and he should be catching that. So he has to work on his side of it. And Joe, Joe did some things that were absolutely not good. There were some passes that were a little bit off target, off the mark. The other thing is it's not always getting out on time because he's under so much pressure. And this is where I think that a rookie quarterback or a quarterback like Dylan, who does have some mobility, I think it might help. I envision a shorter, snappier, quicker release, just a faster, zippier game. I envision him moving around, using his legs, them running some RPOs and trying some things like that. It seems like sort of a slower process to get the ball where it needs to go right now. And then also, they're not taking as many big shots downfield because they did not want Joe throwing a bunch of interceptions. Well, he's throwing them anyways. And they're not all his fault. We know that. They're not all his fault. Jerry Jeudy's on the ground. Cedric Tillman, did he run the wrong route? Did Joe throw the wrong route? It's really hard to say. But I do think that if you get the offense moving the way that you want to and the way that it was intended to, with more quarterback movement and maybe shorter passes and getting the ball into the hands of your receivers on higher percentage passing plays and then letting them run after the catch, then I think you're just going to see a whole different philosophy. And, let's see if it works. That's what I'm interested to see.
Mary Kay, great stuff as always. Have a great trip to England, and we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully following a win. We'll see. Thank you.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Take care.